let's talk about mods, and not the folks at PowerTrip and Discord. Instead, it's the modifiers or mods for Helldivers 2, ways in which you can essentially change your game's look, which leads to a much better experience if you're doing things right. Now, real quickly, I'm using the Helldivers 2 Arsenal mod manager. It is freaking awesome, hashtag not sponsored. And I'm also using Nexus mods, which is where I get all these mods from, including the mod manager. Now, I'll go ahead and cover the mods I have installed and the options or settings I chose for them and why, with comparisons to what it looks like if you're using the stock no mod, to give you all a little bit of a contrast. Let's go ahead and begin. Cleaner railgun sight. The stock reticle is a massive green dot for some reason nowadays, and this makes it difficult to hit weak spots from distance, whereas with the modifier, you can actually see the weak spot and be far more precise with a precision weapon. You can also change the charge bar if you're interested. I haven't done that, but here's what it looks like. Muzzle flash remover, which is mainly installed because I like using the maxigun, or when I do like using it, I want to see what I'm aiming at. There's visual blur and absurd muzzle flash happening, but this mostly removes the visual blur from the weapon, which just makes it better to shoot through in first person and in third person. It just gives me a better experience when shooting the weapon. If you like any of these things I have turned off, don't install the mod. Just want to make that very clear out the gate. I have folks that are going, what if I like the muzzle flash or the visual blur? Then keep it. Deal with it, brother. If you like it, go nuts. I don't care for it. Then I changed the sound for maxigun because the devs made it worse. It was fine before, and then they went ahead and said, what if we made it sound like trash? Oh, Carl, you like that idea? So I have the M1000 minigun beefier, which I'll have links in the description for all the mods I have installed, and in my Discord, I try to keep up with the mods I have installed in the pinned comment in the mod section. Arrowhead is afraid of effective dripology. You cannot pick useful perks and pair them with good-looking armor. That's not allowed. So instead, your best option is to essentially mod the game. Find the armors that look good on mods and install them, which I don't do myself personally, but it's a good segue into some unpaid advertising. My brother does embroidery. He makes custom hats, jackets, and various other things. Mostly hats, though. If you need 10, 20, 30, 100 hats or something like that, hit him up. For events, businesses, whatever the case may be, if you think it, he can stitch it and bring it to life. If you're interested in somewhat bulk orders, go to outwestseams.com, and you can check him out on Instagram as well under the same tag to figure out and look at his previous work and see what you're getting into. But he can do some rather wild stuff. Rain Begone. It simply removes the rain from every mission that has it, which, by the way, rain looks terrible in this game. If you like it, keep it. But I could not stand the new appropriators with their Extra Storm mission that had constant rain until you beat the main objective. Does it make sense? Yes. Does it change the fact that it looked terrible for the majority of the mission? No shot. I couldn't stop complaining about it. I really couldn't, because I don't appreciate all the things that just make the game look terrible. I don't want to play the game anywhere close to the same way that some folks do, in which they have their monitor turned off. Like, I like to actually see when playing the game. I know it's a shocking revelation. No smoke, heat, or sparks for the double-edged sickle and talon. It mostly affects the double-edged sickle because when you fire that weapon and get to a higher heat, you get increased pin for the weapon, and you also send a ton of sparks. This makes it a little bit more annoying to actually look through the first-person sight and hit anything, which you're also factoring in the 20-20 spread. It's either 20-20 or 10-10, one of the two, which makes you miss shots to begin with. I don't want to deal with the extra nonsense. Truesight. Apparently, the 4x and 10x scopes are a little bit off, making your shots not go where they're supposed to. This fixes it, although it's not a crazy difference, but if you look at the freeze frames here, the shots do seem to be landing in different locations. Could be placebo, either way I have it installed. You can change the scopes. I've tried it, not my cup of tea, and by the way, there's tons of mods that actually change scopes if you're into that kind of thing. Third-person reticle replacements. This mod's fantastic, and it's the first one in which we can actually change the options. So click the Edit Options button, and within this, you can actually remove the static bars on your third-person reticle. So you have the two bars on the left and right side, and the center dot. I get rid of the bars, and for the center dot, I think I keep it as is. To ditch anything in this, you want to check mark it, and then if it has a remove option, get rid of it, or pick whatever else you may want. So we'll go ahead and go down the line. I keep a lot of things unchecked. I don't want to deal with them or change them. I ditched the laser cannon spinner. Little tangent, but for some reason, people want to lie to themselves and you and say, oh yeah, man, the extra clutter helps me aim better. That's not how it works. If I block out your screen, you can't hit shots better, dog. You're not Mr. Miyagi. You're not waxing on, waxing off. You are just not doing that. Having more clutter, blocking your true aim reticle, the circle that moves with the spinny nonsense that does nothing for you, is garbage. It's always been garbage. For 2 years, people tried to tell me, yeah, it helps me aim better. Congratulations, you're insane. And now you're freaking transferring that insanity to me. Moving on. So I checked that and turned it off, just so we're clear. You can make it smaller if you want to. Psychopaths. Lock on circle. I turned that off as well. You can keep it on. Honestly, the lock on circle doesn't do much because if you keep the center dot up here on, you'll still know if you're locking on, which keep that in mind real quick. We'll go back to the lock on circle in a second. We scroll down. You can remove the triangle nonsense for Senator and Talon and any other pistol or weapon that has it. I think also the dagger and whatnot. It does nothing for these weapons in particular, but understand that the triangle is what you use to lock on and see stuff with. So if you're using the spear, the wasp, if you ditch the entirety of the triangle stuff, you won't know what you're actually aiming at. If you keep the center dot, though, you'll know you're locked on when it turns green. Kind of complicated, but they essentially reused this asset for that reason, which I'm not sure why they don't just remove it from the Talon, Senator, and Dagger that don't have lock-on properties to begin with, but whatever, dude. So if you want, you can make it smaller, or you can just keep one. I just removed it all. I don't care. I don't use lock-on weapons that much. It does not bother me much. And even when I do use them, I'll adapt. Custom weapons. You can change a ton of gun models, but more importantly, alter their first-person reticle, which the reason why I have this installed is because the Constitution gets a banger first-person reticle. The Jungle Carbine. It looks clean. It makes it way better to hit your shots with, and I much prefer it to the iron sights that are default, which look terrible. You can't see what you're aiming at most of the time, especially not from distance. I'd rather have visual clarity. Me personally, that's just what I prefer in games. I'm sorry. And Senator is another massive winner here. You get a red dot, which you already have one. The difference is this is a bit taller, and you don't have the extra bar. There's 2 bars on the Senator iron sights, the default ones. It looks terrible. What is the purpose? If it's realistic, cool. It's garbage. Sorry. Looks bad. No reason to have that. It does not make the game better. I've been hating that since the freaking weapon. Since I ever used the weapon, I didn't appreciate the first-person reticles being so trash for it. This is actually one of my favorite ones for a gun, though. It's just so... It's pretty tall, but it's freaking clean. Now, aside from that, you can also just change how weapons look. You can experiment with more iron sights. I will say the Stuff 52 iron sights actually insanely crisp here as well. It gives it a red dot, which the red dot does persist even when you're unscoped, so that could be a bit immersive breaking. I think it's worth it, because the base iron sights for this weapon are actually broken, I think, still, where it can glitch out your screen. Maybe they fix that, but it's still... The base iron sights are terrible. Automaton Turret Recolor. It gives a slight red paint job to the tank turret, bunker turret, or both. It helps to make it so the constant sea of gray you experience in the fortresses that camouflages all the bunker turrets isn't as profound. Instead, they're going to stick out a little bit. Nothing crazy. They're not going to have a freaking glow stick like Terry Crews in the dance club. They'll still have some subtleness to them, but there's a bit more contrast, which is awesome. It's what people have been asking for a long time. Now, if you want the glow stick route, that does exist. That's a mod you can get if you want. I prefer the subtleness of this instead. TF2 Golden Frying Pan, giving you a reskin for Machete that allows you to have a silver or gold frying pan, and it even has its own audio, the little bonk, or a 20 decibel louder bonk if you don't like the ability to hear stuff good. It is, to me, hilarious because I promote pans, hashtag not sponsored yet, that I like a lot. They're stainless steel, big fan. I cook eggs in them all the time. They don't stick. I really enjoy these pans, and I talk about them occasionally, and I do like little segues in the game. I essentially made my own thing a long time ago that was very cattywampus. Now you have this in-game model, makes it cooler. It'd be 10 times better, not to take away from this mod, if it was for the breaching hammer. So if folks make mods, and if anyone would like to get commissioned, I would like to pay you, depending on the price, to make a longer handle for breaching hammer with a wider base, the pan, like the circle part, and you reload it by hitting with an egg or cracking it. I think hitting it would just be fine enough. That'd be freaking awesome. That'd be hilarious to me, walking around deleting chargers with this comically large frying pan, and it also has the bonk sound effect as seen as here. If you could just toggle the sound effects if you don't like it or whatever, that'd be awesome. Now, there is a chance you may be worried that folks will judge you for using mods in a PvE game in which you're not competing for anything, and instead you're playing as a team to accomplish the exact same goal. Don't worry, don't care. If these mods improve your experience in the slightest and you can get them, do that. There is no point in trying to sit there and wait for the devs to fix problems that have existed in some cases for 2 years. Because if you do that, you'll go insane. You'll worry about things and hope that they can change and put it in the hands of folks that maybe just don't notice it. Instead, you can take initiative and do it yourself. And by the way, this is not cheating at all. These are just physical, or actually, no, they're visual changes. They're not physically changing anything. You're not giving your Liberator 1,000 damage. You're not doing anything of that nature. These are visual mods. Just so we're clear. There's no cheat menu involved. This is kosher. This is allowed. Now, if there's a cheat menu, it'd be different. If you're spawning in super credits, if you're doing other nonsense, yeah, of course, it's not okay. Or, well, it depends. It depends, I guess. Actually, we'll say it's bad just for publicity's sake. Anywho, here's some bloopers of me on this godforsaken hoverboard. It's my nephew's. I borrowed it from him, and he tried to hustle me. He's like, "Yeah, Uncle Hunter, you can borrow that for $1." I told him to his face, "Listen, I'm not going to get hustled by you. Love you, but no shot am I..." Because first of all, I'm borrowing it to make a free advertisement for your dad, my brother, which I don't want money from him unless he makes a lot. So we're not doing this. It's not that I'm not borrowing it for fun. I can't ride that thing, dude. I need to work on my mobility or something. So I'm losing my mind on this, as you guys can see in the background footage. I wasn't going to break it, but the thought definitely ran through my mind. Like, I could break this thing. I could just stomp its lights out right now. And I kind of wanted to, but I knew I couldn't. That's called restraint. Wanting to do something and deciding not to anyway takes some power. And right there, I exercised a great bit of power and restraint. Because I freaking hate that thing. I was also tempted to buy him a new one. Not even thinking like, oh, I'm going to break it and buy him a new one. It was more like, I want to buy him a new one because this thing's pissing me off. This is making me mad. So, anyway, enough of that little side tangent. If you don't want to watch it, by the way. Fun fact, if a video is saying things you don't care about, skip forward or click a different video. People make things so complicated. Like content creation, people make long videos. You're not expected to watch the whole thing. Just watch what you like. And I say this as if it's going to change anything, because folks will watch the video and a new person will have complaints. Why is he saying things I don't want to hear? Because I'm not reading your damn mind. That's why. Anyway, thank y'all for watching. I appreciate your time, and have a good day.